Next we have Steve Kidd's request. This one will be on the prequel movie to Don Bluth's Anastasia, if you could believe that. It's called Bartok the Magnificent. Following up on a fictionalized version of history is always weird since, really, history is kinda already ignored or haphazardly used as is. But if you thought this movie will stick to its original story or characters, think again. The only reason this movie exists is because of Bartok the Bat's popularity, at least in the eyes of Chris Meledandri, then president of 20th Century Fox Animation. So why not milk it for all it's worth? While Fox Animation Studios would come back for this movie, so are Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. They aren't exactly known to do spin-off films before, so can they make this enjoyable? Well, if the other 90s films they did were any indication, it's possible, but not likely. With that, let's see if Bartok really is that magnificent. Right away, we see a slight downgrade in animation quality, though that's to be expected, as we get a song about a certain kind of witch.
Baba Yaga! Baba Yaga! The witch of the Iron Forest! Her evil is next to none!
Yep, what's the logical next step for an Anastasia movie? Baba Yaga! For those who don't know, Baba Yaga was a deformed woman in Slavic folklore. She's often seen alone in the woods, and she can either be helpful or dangerous depending on the story. Guess we're making her a villain in this one, but we'll see. We're then introduced to Bartok, who was once a magician before serving Rasputin.
Once in Mongolia, I noticed a fire. Whole city burning and the flames getting higher. They're yelling, "Save us or we're all gonna bake!" I ate the flames and then I drank the whole lake.
And he's still voiced by Hank Azaria. Only way this would get more awkward is if he slipped into his Apu voice. At least his first song is kinda catchy.
I tell you, B-A-R-T. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a regular Usopp, having to con his way through life to survive. At least this kid seems to like him. Now, you might think he resembles Dimitri from Anastasia, but that's actually Tsar Ivan Romanov, voiced by Philip Van Dyke, who was born sometime in the 1560s, over 3 centuries before Anastasia's story took place. So we're once again seeing history getting errated in real time. The advisor accompanying Ivan is named Ludmilla, voiced by Catherine O'Hara. She's not amused at all by Bartok, but that's not the important part. If you look closely, you can see the frame rate drop for these children like it's Pokemon Gen 8, which I still really like, for the record. Now, how can this show get any more exciting? You know, I'm not sure if I agree with that one review that called the animation feature quality. So Bartok makes a show of not showing fear, because this looks to be staged, then uses various tricks to tie down the bear. Everyone throws gold at him for the show, and the prince does the same thing with his ring.
That is a ring for her Romanov. No commoner may ever wear that.
Why?
Because that is how it has always been.
Suspicious. Well, perhaps it's time for a change.
At least Ivan seems like a nice kid who wants people to be happy. His willingness to mingle with people beneath his station is a plus too. I wouldn't imagine any of this being historically accurate, but you know. Anyway, that bear we saw was in on the act with Bartok. His name is Zozie, voiced by Kelsey Grammer, aka Vlad from the Anastasia movie. And he seems to be the actor type.
You were inspiring today. Focused, fully in the moment, exceeding well beyond what your talent would indicate.
I kinda find this funny since his ferocity was only for show, but he knows that princes also shouldn't be just throwing away jewelry like that. Then he gets into a fight with Bartok over splitting the pay. At least Bartok is convinced to return the ring, but not right now, since it's a dark and stormy night. Bad things tend to happen at this time, like... kidnapping! Made easy with magic. Ludmilla finds out about the disappearance and blames Baba Yaga for it. People think about who ought to rescue the prince, and all the kids say Bartok. So some guards show up and tell him to see Ludmilla, who then tells him to go find the Tsar in the Iron Forest. Bartok comes up with all sorts of excuses not to go, but...
Please, magnificent Bartok, save my Tsar.
Don't do it.
Well, you see, it's complicated. I'll do it.
Zozie doesn't want to go either, but he eventually changes his mind, but only after convincing Bartok not to run away for being a chicken. The only way to convince Bartok is through a song.
You're scared, so what? I'll bet you've got a possible hero in you.
You know, if this wasn't a movie set in a fictional version of Russian history, this wouldn't be too bad. I mean, this is Zozie telling Bartok to be heroic as opposed to faking it, but now we only have 47 minutes left in the movie. So what could they do in such a short time? Anyway, we get to the Iron Forest with statues that don't look at all like something from the 1560s. But it doesn't stop there, since Bartok and Zozie look to enter the underworld? The hell? Save that for a real fantasy movie. At any rate, let's meet our Tim Curry character for the movie.
Did I startle you?
Yeah, you can say that.
Now, why have you come here?
Well, if he's here, then we're about to have something funny happen. He won't let them through unless they solve a riddle. What could it be?
If a section of fence is 68 feet long and 5 feet wide, and the parallel section is the same length, but both perpendicular sections are twice as long.
Carry the 6.
What is the key?
The answer is skeleton key, and only Bartok is allowed to pass. He goes to find a hut that suddenly starts growing chicken legs, which is a nod to folklore. He enters, finds it empty, then is forced to hide when he hears Baba Yaga show up, with another song sequence.
Tonight there's no one in the hallway, no one left or right. But my hallways all say someone's in my house tonight.
This one is kinda fun, but she has had plenty of times to notice Bartok, and she doesn't. Here I'm actually getting vibes from the Swan Princess sequels, because we have some really goofy song sequences to go with goofy plots. At least I don't have to do any more of those. Anyway, Baba Yaga saw Bartok this whole time and was just pretending. She's voiced by Andrea Martin, who also did the voice of Flagmankov from the previous movie. She has the prince, supposedly, and won't let him go until Bartok proves himself by collecting some things.
If you can't, you will die. Not a hero.
And Moscow will never see its prince again.
So no pressure. First he has to get pilaf from an icy quarry. I'm not talking rice pilaf or emperor pilaf, I mean pilaf.
You must be Pilaf.
And you must be lost. How delightful.
Not sure if you'll be annoying or just mildly annoying. She's stuck to this frozen pot or something, and Bartok has to get her out somehow. He doesn't have a hammer, so he has to improvise.
Bartok! I've landed and I'm unharmed!
She's still stuck, but at least she's down. Then she somehow pops off after getting 10 feet from the skull, and she won't stop talking. And once Bartok gets back, he has to solve another riddle. Looks like pilaf was needed for some magic potion, as are 2 other ingredients, which include a gemstone from the Crown of Obol, who is a red ogre blacksmith, and a magic feather. But before I do any of them, we learn that Ludmilla has pulled a Yzma from the Emperor's New Groove by taking over the throne.
As regent, will do my best to carry on and ensure the safety of and respect for the throne of Russia.
Well, she has to act like nothing suspicious is going on, but give it a while. Now, about the Iron Crown. Bartok has to trick Obol with some parlor tricks.
Abracawoozy!
He seems fine. And then for the feather, he's not allowed to fly, but he is allowed to use both the crown and that iron structure from earlier to help him. He thinks of giving up when things don't go to plan, but Zosie reminds him that the solution is right there. Baba Yaga might be a bit of a jerk, but she seems to be teaching him something. There is one more thing that she needs, but what is it?
I need something from you.
But, well, how can I know what that is if you never told me? Okay, here it is. The Motherlode. An autographed portrait of Ivan the Terrible. I caught him in a good mood.
So this movie does take place in the 1560s? That would mean some strange implications for the other movie. Bartok tries to get away with giving something else, but Baba Yaga is having none of it. They start arguing and Bartok insults her, leading to her actually feeling bad and crying. He then also starts to cry since he doesn't know what else to give her, only to realize
The most important ingredient from your heart.
well, I suppose you'd have to trick him into feeling guilty if you knew he was sensitive to crying. With the potion complete, Baba Yaga shows him that Ivan was in the castle tower, and that she never kidnapped him in the first place. Before Bartok sets off though, he gets a bit of the potion, which will make his appearance match whatever he is in his heart times 10.
How about a hug?
A hug?
Come on, bring it in.
A hug? Don't push your luck.
Now they just need to rescue the prince. For some reason, Bartok doesn't let Zosie come with him, even inside his wagon. Sure, he can't be around people because of earlier, but he could at least be on standby in case something goes wrong, because once Bartok goes in and tells everyone about where Ivan really is, then goes to that tower to prove it, Ludmilla decides to trap him.
Dressed up like the witch, left that tooth, and took the prince.
And what about him?
But you told me you wanted him out of the way.
Well, what's he doing here?
Well, I put him in that cage, in the tippy top of the tower. How much more out of the way could he be?
I mean, you could have just had him killed before framing Baba Yaga. You didn't even need Vol to disguise himself. Ludmilla steals his potion and tries to take it, but it doesn't seem to have an effect. For now. Okay, enough with that. Get to the villain song.
Starting today when the real Ludmilla comes out.
Don't like this song, but I find her lack of awareness funny. Now she's a big and hideous dragon. Zosie shows up, frees Bartok, and then goes to save Ivan and Vol, while Bartok confronts Ludmilla in a decently creative sequence. He then lures her toward the castle, then baits her into destroying the towers.
Bartok, where's the water?
And I think he just killed Ludmilla with this maneuver. Oh well.
And I never gave her anything.
What do you mean? You gave her what she needed most, and what only a true hero could. Your compassion, Bartok.
It took some learning about compassion, but I guess that counts for something. Thus, as Ivan talks up Bartok in front of everyone, Bartok gives the ring back to the prince. Baba Yaga flies through the sky to spell his name, and...
Come on, peel off, group hug.
Stop it now! Don't
Bring
go!
it in, everybody. We see ya.
You can count on it.
See you later, folks.
I don't know about you, but that wasn't exactly magnificent. It's not as obnoxious as some Good Times or Golden Films movies, but it is a major step down from Anastasia. The animation quality took a hit, the story gave way to more humor than I would have liked, and I can't place this story in relation to Anastasia. There's no way Bartok could be that old when the main story took place, right? Sure, this is a spin-off movie, so it doesn't have to connect with the first one. Though supposedly Rasputin shows up near the end as a regular NPC, but also going back to the Romanovs as a storytelling device just feels pretty suspect. The movie's just unnecessary either way, so even if it's not the worst thing out there, it is far from being magnificent. Maybe the next movie I'll watch won't repeat those same mistakes. So what is that next request anyway? Oh, you gotta be kidding me.